And we like to tell you, Simran, how proud we are feeling today. Despite going through your condition, you still came forward to share your story and encourage others to tell about organ donation. ਇਹ ਏਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਸਿੱਖ ਚੈਨਲ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਿਊਅਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ, ਕਾਫੀ ਐਨਕਰੇਜਮੈਂਟ ਵੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ, ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ, ਬੇਮ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ, organ ਡੋਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਨਾਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੈਚਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪਰਫੈਕਟਲੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਮੈਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਸਨ ਦਾ organ, ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ। ਸੋ ਸਿਮਰਨ, enough said as an information. We'd like to welcome you in Sikh channel. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Hello, sorry. Sat Sri Akal.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਸਿਮਰਨ। Hope you're feeling well today. And as we said, we'd like to know more about your story, about your prognosis, and about how your condition is affecting you, and that you require an organ donation immediately.
Okay, so I was diagnosed with kidney failure in 2015. So it's been 5 years now, and I've been waiting for an organ transplant since the beginning, so for the past 5 years. And obviously, when I found out, I was only 13, and it really did have a big effect on my ability to do work at school and how much energy I had just to do normal things and live like a normal 13-year-old. So I would really appreciate getting a kidney transplant because it would genuinely change my life for the better because it would give me so much more energy. And for the past 2 years, I've been on dialysis. So I have to be connected to a machine at night for 8 hours. And sometimes that can be quite painful. So it does hurt. And it was like in the Indian community, I need the perfect kidney for me would be from somebody of the same ethnicity as myself, so a fellow Indian person. But within our community, organ donation isn't really spoken about a lot, and so a lot of people aren't registered to be donors or don't
Yeah.
donate. And my parents and I, we run a Facebook page to talk about organ donation and try and find me a kidney. And we were going to do a event at the local Gurdwara, but it got cancelled because of coronavirus, so we haven't got to do it yet. But hopefully we will afterwards.
Right. Simran, you said you were only 13 when you were diagnosed with the kidney related problem. There's so many children across UK who might have similar situation like who might have need some other organ as well. Usually we talk to adults here on our platform who talk about kidney transplant, organ donation, but you seem so far ahead of your age, and I hope everybody watching this realizes that it's little children who are actually going through a lot in life, and it's for their sake that we should come forward and at least get tested. So would you tell our viewers how would the process go about if they'd like to enroll in some kind of register just to sign up for organ donation?
Well, not that long ago, the law on organ donation changed, so everyone is automatically opted in to be a donor unless they choose not to be. So at the moment, nobody would really have to go and say, I want to be a donor, like to the government or anything. But if they wanted to donate to me, for example, they could we have contact information from the nurses that I work with, and then they would talk to the nurses and they would get their blood taken and check it to see if it matches my tissues and my blood type to see if the kidney would be compatible with me.
And what percentage of chances are there? What is the probability that would definitely match with your kidney?
I'm not sure of an actual number, but my blood type is quite rare. I think it's O positive, so I can donate to anyone, but I need O positive to donate to me. So it's been a bit
Right.
difficult. Obviously, it's been 5 years, and there's no like average waiting time for me. But I think
Yeah.
5 years is a little bit longer than they probably expected because at the beginning you get put on a list given loads of different factors like your blood type, your ethnicity, your age, and you got put on a list in a certain position. And I was put quite near the bottom, um,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure where I am right now. But it all just depends on those factors.
So, what factors are necessary to be taken in consideration before anybody decides to give you their kidney? I mean, like, does age really matters, or a person's fitness quotient, of course, matters? So, what kind of tests would be done on a donor before they can be termed fit enough to give you their kidney?
So their kidney needs to be relatively healthy, so they can't be like a person who drinks a lot of alcohol or smokes. And when it comes to weight, they have to be within a certain weight range because if they're overweight, then it's probably going to be dangerous to take one of their organs or operate on them. So, and
Yeah.
if their organ's not healthy, then there's more of a chance that my body will reject it. So, it's important for the donor to make sure that in the months or so before they were to donate or get tested, or weeks, they should make sure that they're being healthy and maybe exercising a bit to make sure that they're not an unhealthy weight.
Yeah, right. Simran, Seva is such a big concept in Sikhi, and I'm sure it must really sometimes make you feel really bizarre about this whole thing. Why people from our own community are not coming forward and enrolling their names for organ donation, because people don't really actually understand sometimes how the process goes by. But I'd like to tell people here, and I'd like you to also inform them about how they only first have to enroll their name for organ donation and give out their details, and it's after sometimes your name doesn't even come up for donation because
Mm.
there's no really potential person who requires in your own blood group or in your own ethnicity, but people have this underlying fear in them that if they enroll their name, they might be called in just within a week for a donation. So, would you please inform our viewers more about how the whole process works?
So if you enroll to be a donor, there's no like nobody says that you have to get called straight away. Like a few years ago, my dad was going to donate his kidney to me, but it didn't work out. So he got put on this other list to see if he could donate to other people. And it's been a few years since then, and he hasn't been called to donate with to anyone. So it could be
Hmm.
years until you get called to donate. And a lot of the
Yeah,
time, it depends on what the patient or the hospital are looking for, because you can get organs off of people who have just died. You can have their organ, or you could have a living donor. Having a living donor is obviously more like people want that, but it doesn't mean that as soon as you sign up, you're going to get called to donate an organ to somebody.
yeah,
And like
yeah,
donating your organ is a massive decision to make, so it's understandable that people are a bit nervous to even put their name down. But
mm,
like when I got told I needed a kidney transplant, that was 5 years ago, and I thought I'd have to have it the next day. But the process is a bit longer than you would think that it is, so it won't be immediate if you do decide to donate.
right. Also, Simran, I'd like the viewers to understand how you are living with this condition, how you don't have, a normal life. You can't do a lot of stuff that people your age are doing. But if a family member dies, we're still a bit apprehensive of giving away their organs as if they are going to live further. So we must understand as a community that the biggest seva is to give away your own family members' organs if they are not alive anymore, because that might help other people to have a better life. So please speak about how, we should encourage our family members. We should take this decision as a family. We should discuss this on dining tables about enrolling for organ donation. If anything happens to a family member, they must come forward for giving away their organs after their death, because that might help people like you to have a normal life.
Yeah. So when I was diagnosed, I wasn't expecting it at all, and neither was anyone in my family. So nobody had ever thought about donating any organs before. And when you're put in a situation where you have to, then everybody starts to think about it, and that made up my family think about organ donation and be more sympathetic towards people who were in the same situation as me. And I think it's important
Yeah,
to talk to your family about it, and if you think that the situation's ever going to come up, it's good to have spoken about it beforehand, because I know that a lot of people wouldn't want to give away their organs even when they die. But it's like when you're dead, you don't need them because you're dead. But when there's going to be somebody who's alive who's really struggling because they need a new organ, and your organ could help them to live a longer life, and even then it's like doing a good deed, and it'll
yeah,
just it's help somebody a lot. There's a lot of little like babies who are in the same situation as myself, and like people in the UK, it's like almost 7,000 people who are waiting for a transplant of some kind.
hmm,
So there's a lot of people, and I think um when it comes to like people who are Indian and people who are other ethnicities of color, um, those communities don't really talk about organ donation that much, and so there's more people like me who are still waiting because they need an ethnicity match that they aren't getting. So I think it's important in our community to talk to each other about it.
yeah. And if you would please also explain more about kidney transplant, what really this whole procedure is, because people might think it would make their own life, or their make functioning a little less, viable if they give away one kidney of theirs. So if you tell us more about how kidney transplant would work.
So in my situation, for example, I've still got two kidneys, but they don't really work. They only work like 8%. So I need a kidney transplant. I would like need one well working, healthy kidney for me to function normally. So if I can function with one kidney, somebody who has given me that kidney can function with one as well. And when I was in hospital, I met this girl who didn't have any kidneys. She just had a tube inside, and she was perfectly fine. Like having one kidney is not going to change how healthy you are or how much your organs work, because if you donate them, that means that your kidneys are healthy, so you can live for a very long time, for as long as normal with just one kidney. It doesn't change the how long your life is going to be.
Right. And how are you going about the dialysis that you're undergoing? How many times a week do you actually have to go for dialysis?
I do it every day. There's two types, but I have the one that I do at home. So I do it every night. I set up my machine myself now, and I have a tube in my stomach, and it gets connected to a tube on the machine. And then what happens is there's fluid that goes from the machine into me, and then it sits there for about an hour and a half. And then when it comes out, it pulls out everything that didn't come out um, in my urine. So it does the job that the kidneys should be doing. And it does that for me about 4 times over the course of 8 hours whilst I sleep. So I don't really notice it that much, but if it can hurt sometimes because of where the tube is.
Yeah.
So when it does hurt, it's a bit annoying, but usually it's okay.
Yeah. And any support groups that you have joined, Simran, people who have been helpful, people who have come forward to inform you better or help you in many ways. if you can let our viewers know about, there might be others who are in a similar situation like you, and if they can also join a similar support group, that would be helpful.
Well, I have a Facebook page called A Kidney for the number four Simran on Facebook, and there's loads of people who we've connected with, and we share their stories and post their posts as well, who are in the same situation as me, and we all support each other through that. And there's loads of people who I've spoken to through doing like interviews like this who have helped me to get my story out there and thus help other people as well. So if you went on my Facebook page, there's like a little girl called like Hope for Anaya. She's really little, and she's in a similar situation to myself. So
Yeah,
there's loads of people if you just look on Facebook.
right. Thank you so much, Simran, for joining us today for this conversation. And we really hope listening to this, many people would have got encouraged to come forward to help you. At least make the effort to go on your Facebook page and read about you, read about more about the kidney transplant and how it can change your life. You're merely 18 years old now and you're doing a brilliant job. We'd like to send you positive vibes. And we'd like
Thank
to
you.
interview again once you have found a donor. And I'd like to appeal to our viewers in Punjabi as well. Uh,
Oh yeah.
ਸਿਮਰਨ ਸਹਿਜਪਾਲ ਇੱਕ ਨੋਰਮਲ ਟੀਨੇਜਰ ਪਰਸਨ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਟੀਨੇਜ ਈਅਰਸ ਦੀ ਹੋਰ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਵਾਂਗ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੀ ਪਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਆਫ ਕਿਡਨੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਦੈਟ ਸ਼ੀ ਹੈਜ਼ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਇੱਕ ਡਿਊਟੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਦੈਟ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਟ ਲੀਸਟ ਰੀਡ ਅਪ ਕਰੀਏ ਇਸ ਕੰਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਬਾਰੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਡਨੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਸਨ ਨੂੰ ਅਫੈਕਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਡਨੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਸਪਲਾਂਟ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੀਜਰ ਬਾਰੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਇਸ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨਾਲ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ organ ਡੋਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਇੱਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਹੀ ਲੋਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ ਸਫਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ 6000 ਲੋਕ ਕੱਲੇ ਯੂਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਸਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਡੈਥ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਆਫ ਨਾਟ ਬੀਇੰਗ ਏਬਲ ਟੂ ਫਾਈਂਡ ਅ ਪਰਫੈਕਟ ਡੋਨਰ organ ਡੋਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਇੱਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਰਜਿਸਟਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕ ਆਪਣੀ ਡਿਟੇਲਸ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕ ਐਨਰੋਲ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਉਨੇ ਹੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਡੇਟਾਬੇਸ ਤੋਂ ਪੋਸੀਬਿਲਿਟੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਆਫ ਫਾਈਂਡਿੰਗ ਅ ਪਰਫੈਕਟ ਮੈਚ ਉਹ ਵੱਧ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਪਿਛਲੇ 5 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਫੈਕਟ ਕਿਡਨੀ ਡੋਨਰ ਲੱਭ ਰਹੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂ ਇਸ 5 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਪਰਫੈਕਟ ਮੈਚ ਫॉर ਕਿਡਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਹਾਲੇ ਤੱਕ organ ਡੋਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਐਨਰੋਲ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਡੀਟੇਲਸ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫੈਕਟਰਸ ਆ ਉਹ ਉਹਦੇ ਕਿਡਨੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੋਰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮਾਤਰਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਨਰੋਲ ਕਰਾਈਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਵੀ ਐਨਰੋਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਆਪਣੇ ਫਰੈਂਡਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੀਏ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਡੇਟਾਬੇਸ ਇੰਨਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋਏ ਦੈਟ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਐਟਲੀਸਟ ਵਨ ਮੈਚ ਫॉर ਸਿਮਰਨ ਇਨਫ ਹੋ ਸਕੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ organ ਡੋਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਨਾਲ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰੋ ਆਪਣਾ organ ਦੇਣ ਤੋਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇਣ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਤਾਂ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ ਫॉर joining Sikh channel today and we really hope that it all works out for you very soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simran. AC